So,
what we're talking about?
stop playing with that like that, for God's sake. So, Russell, we went to the zoo yesterday.
We did.
This is our third attempt at an intro. The first two were at the zoo. The first one, Russell plugged the mics into the headphone socket. So
which is, to be fair, which is easy to do because
no, it's not.
It's only a black faint line saying mic and one saying the headphones.
It's the camera's fault because they hadn't colour coded it. We've got a stunt camel in the background. So... Oh, the second intro. What was wrong with that?
The focus was in and out. For some reason, it kept on trying to focus in the middle with the eye detect.
It was after the camel which was behind us. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, we've got a stunt camel in the background.
Yeah.
Specially brought in for today.
Yeah.
So it's the Z camera's first outing to the zoo.
Yeah, this has been interesting for me coming from a D850 with DSLR lenses. So now I've got the, what is this, the Z6 II with the 85 1.8 to see, you know, when you can get closer up, the depth of field might be really amazing. And on my other lens, which is filming now, over there, the Z7 with a 50 to 250, which is a DX lens, so it'll be a 75 to 375.
Yeah.
And on the Z7, I hope it brings up the quality a bit. I've never had any problems with it before, but it'd be good to test it in this environment, I think.
Jolly good. I've got the 70 to 200 on the Z6 Mark II. I've also got the 1.4 teleconverter in my bag, but if you've seen any of our previous videos, you'll know what we think of that. Not an awful lot, so I'm not sure whether I will bother to take it out.
It enhances your field of view when you need it,
yeah.
but the sharpness is the same.
So if like the line was like 3 miles away, I could see it slightly better with the teleconverter on, but it wouldn't improve the end result.
No, because you can just crop in with the native lens and it's the same we've found before.
Yeah. Frightening me already.
No, it's like undercover.
That's why that's the only reason you got a shirt on, isn't it? Because you're embarrassed that people see,
I don't want to be walking. If I walk around without that, it looks a bit stupid.
They'd throw you out.
Yeah.
Scare all the...
Right.
Jolly
good. Good time.
Jolly good.
Let's get some chips.
Chips?
Yeah. Right, so how did it go for you?
I was very happy with the results from the 70 to 200. We did remark during the day that it is heavy to carry around all day. You were even Googling the different weights of the lenses. I think this was what, 1.4 kilograms?
1.3.
1.3,
yeah.
and like your 85 was about 450 or something.
Yeah, this is about the same as well.
Yeah.
So I had both bodies on me using my harness, and I didn't barely even knew it was
Looking
there.
like a cowboy. So yeah, apart from the weight of carrying it around all day, I was very happy with it. As nearly always, I use it pretty much all the time on 2.8 because it is really sharp at 2.8. It crops in really well. I just like the look of it, to be honest. Obviously hasn't got the reach of the 50 to 250, which is effectively twice the reach of this at 375 effective. Stop doing that. But I think it makes up for it in it's sharper, you can crop more, and it's just got a lovely look about it.
Yeah, so for me, I'm happy with my results too. I'm happy with the quality of this 50 to 250. I'm happy with its reach, the sharpness and the look. It's got some depth of field look to it as well. It's sharp, and my 85 was really good. I know it's not a typical wildlife lens, but for a zoo it's good. And I wanted to get that 1.8 look, and it was sharp as well. I mean, I think what I was trying to do with the 85 was to match your depth of field and reach with your lens. And sometimes it worked, like with the zebras.
Yeah.
I shot at 1.8 and you shot 2.8. Well, I have to crop in to the picture to get the same. Once I crop in my 85 picture and to the same composition as your picture, they look almost identical.
Yeah.
Because of the focal length of the 200 or your lens, it makes that extra depth of field look anyway.
Yeah.
So even though I was shooting at 1.8 and cropping in with a Z6, it had the same kind of look anyway.
Yeah.
In that scenario, to get the most of the 85, you have to be quite close to get that beautiful creamy depth of field. So again, the 70 to 200 went on that front. It was interesting to compare it when we were shooting the Lion, when it was quite far away. That was the only really time where we were stretching, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And once you crop in to a certain level, then you start to see your lens really break away with the quality of the look, the sharpness, the texture, the colours. Everything kind of goes that way, and that's understandable with the price.
What you're paying for, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. But generally, from basic compositions without cropping in too much, they look very similar.
Yeah. Bearing in mind that's about a tenth of the price of this, which is amazing, and it's really light.
Well, that's an incredible lens. It wins pretty much every time we use it comparing to other lenses. The downside of it is the weight. When I used it a few times, I'm like, whoa, it's so different from these.
Because you need to sort of build
some muscles.
You need to be, a bit more. Anyway.
But obviously, this is light and small, and 10 times cheaper.
Probably a tenth of the price, yeah.
Yeah. And so you have to think about a budget. If you can't, if you want a good, you can even use this as a travel lens, couldn't you?
Yeah, definitely. I've taken it abroad. I took it abroad last year where I went on safari. It was a one-day safari, and I used that. I got some great results, and it was in Sri Lanka. It was in Sri Lanka. It's really hot. I wouldn't have wanted to be carrying this all day then, I don't think. So that was well worth it then, and I was really happy with the results at that time.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm sure you're missing that beautiful creamy 2.8 at depth of field, and the sharpness and a bit of the colour is better. But generally, I'm happy with my photos that I've taken. And once I compare them to yours and I pixel peep, and there's a picture of the Rhino as well, it does so well compared to it. And the other issue with this is, I've noticed on Lightroom, that I only can crop in.
Whereas you can go well over 100% on this.
Yeah, with that you can go over 100%.
Yeah.
And so the effective focal length of this loses out because you can get sharper images.
Yeah.
And the same putting this against the 85, I shot at 1.8. It still looks good when you crop in at 100%. And then I took a picture at 2.8, and then it starts to look sharper than this, even though I'm cropping in quite far with the 85.
Yeah.
So it has all its twos and fro's with the merits, but again, I've got no complaints with this lens. It's so cheap. Like, I got it for £250 open box, and for wildlife lens, and to get that extra reach when you want it, it's sharp. It's good. Really happy with it.
Yeah. What did you think about the screen grab from the 4K video of the lion or the lioness?
I haven't looked at it.
Fuck, I sent it to you last night.
Shit.
And I put it on Facebook and you commented on it. What do you mean you haven't looked at it?
I'll ask you that question. So how did the screen grabs go from the 4K footage?
Have you looked at them?
I'll look at them later, and then I want to really pixel peek.
I thought it was good. So I took a frame out of it, edited it a bit, light editing really in Lightroom, and I was really happy with the results. If you're just sharing those two results on social media, I think it'd be hard to tell the difference. Okay, yes, if you're going to print it out, or a decent size.
So if you look on a desktop, like on a laptop or a desktop monitor.
Yeah.
So that's maybe where, I mean, everyone scoffs at the 8K on new bodies. They're starting to bring out 8K. Maybe this is why, because you can film it. It'll be twice as many as the 4K, and then what you're saying will be even more true.
Trouble is, you're going to end up with huge files on your computer, because if you're shooting a reasonable amount of footage to then go and choose a few frames out of it, you've got...
No. So how did you get on with the autofocus?
I just used single point, back button focus, recompose, and 95% of the time I was happy with it.
I tried the animal autofocus. Obviously it's made for domestic cats and dogs.
Yeah, cats and dogs really,
But obviously some zoo animals are pretty similar to that, but still it was too inconsistent.
I think I might have tried it on the wolf, because I thought that's the nearest I'm going to get to a dog, but it was fine in the body, then it would fine the face, and you know, they were moving around.
No, it's too difficult. So then I used single point on single server, and I had trouble with it at first with both lenses and both bodies. I got a bit frustrated. There was one point where the wolf finally looked up towards us, and I was using my 85. It was centre frame, and it focused on the background.
Yeah.
Which is crazy, really, because it's centre point focusing, and it didn't work. So then I took advice from you.
Yes, following which I explained to Russell about back button focus. He doesn't like change.
No, well, I've just been shooting the same way, and it's worked most of the time.
Yeah.
So, but with this, I enjoyed using back button focusing. It seemed quicker, and I don't know why. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was just felt like it was quicker. Yeah, I mean, the takeaway from this is the 70-200 2.8 is heavy beast. But no, yet again, we did it with music photography in the last video, and it did really well with that, just because of the focal length. And it does create allows you to do some really artistic shots. I loved the one where you took the picture of those little animals through the wood, and you used the leaves, which were out of focus. Yeah. And it looks like as a frame, it looks beautiful. Yeah. And I didn't see that particularly, and I'm not sure this lens would have been able to do that, because it shoots at 6.3.
No.
And so it does allow a certain creativity, and the sharpness and everything else is really great. I mean, the price and the weight puts me off considerably, and that's why I haven't got one yet. So.
But you keep talking about a 50mm 1.2.
Yeah, and that's when I looked at the weight of it.
And it's similar weight to this, similar price. It's getting on for the same price. But you've just got, stating the obvious, a fixed focal length, whereas you've got 70-200 in this, and it's sharp at 2.8. Yeah. I think it's a great lens. It's a shame it's not a bit lighter, but then it's the quality that's making that weight, and it's just so versatile. Pretending there within a year's time there's other Z glasses like the 400 2.8, would you prefer to use that during a? I'd like to try a longer zoom. But again, I'm sure it's going to be bigger and heavier. This crops so well. Yeah, I know, I've got one of those. But this crops so well. The teleconverter is still a disappointment, so I haven't really used it. Perhaps I should give it another go. But I'm hanging on to it to see if they do bring out some new lenses of longer lengths. So if it'll work with those, I'll give it another try on that. If a 200 to 500 came out, that would be very tempting. As long as you wouldn't walk around the zoo with it. No, that's the thing. For user case scenarios for the lenses, you need it on a tripod. You just need it in what do they call them? A perch or a hide? Yeah, in a hide. You wouldn't. You can sit on the perch if you like. I'm going to go in the hide. But you can't. Yeah, I mean that's the thing with these lenses. It put me off so much, like the 51.2 is the weight of it. I wouldn't want it to carry it as a second body on my harness. It'd be too heavy. But yes, I hope you enjoyed the video, and maybe some surprises with this lens as usual, because this is often good. Yeah, it's good. Good lens. So yeah, brilliant. Off to the next adventure, whenever that will be. Yes. Don't know when. Not too long. Brilliant. Cool.